Hello again, everyone. Matt Stevens here again. I'm going to go over my Module 1 for EDL856, various communication forms. Let's just go ahead and dive right into it, let you all learn a little bit about myself. For those of you that haven't had a class with me yet, I am a graduate of Fort Hays State University, 2004. I am currently a school teacher, and I've been doing it for 15 years. I've taught in multiple different school districts and universities, Moore, Union, Oklahoma City University, and Mustang. And I'm actually teaching back at Westmore High School this year, changing schools at semester. So it's kind of been a really trying time for me, but I'm headed to teach U.S. World History there at Westmore High School. Like I said, it's in Oklahoma City. A little bit more about me. You can see my family here on the left, Tanya, Taylor, Tristan, and Savannah. Taylor did not make this trip on us with her, but she is also a Fort Hays State graduate this last December, so good for her. I was born in Junction City, Kansas. I coach wrestling at the high school and college level. I actually coach at Westmore High School in Oklahoma City, and I volunteered for USA Wrestling. I'm an avid Chiefs fan, and I volunteer quite frequently for our Ducks Unlimited chapter here in Cleveland County, Oklahoma. We're trying to save the wetlands and make it so we can keep our conservation up for migrant birds. So just going to talk a little bit about forms of communication. If you take a look at, the module here today, it kind of went over a lot of different forms of communication, from verbal to digital to nonverbal. And I just wanted to kind of go over the ones that I feel I use the most often in what order. I obviously feel I use the most when it comes to verbal communication. Probably second would be written. I mean, it's the day and age where I write a lot of emails to administrators, other teachers, and even parents and students. So I would say I do that second. Number 3, digital communication. Obviously, we use a lot of online, delivery when it comes to content in our classes. And I think throughout, the pandemic and different things, that has became even more of a norm. I know with our students being one-to-one, I use a lot of digital communication when it comes to communicating them on a daily basis. And I'm not saying that I don't have a lot of verbal still, but I do use digital communication quite a bit. And then last but not least, visual communication. I think 3 and 4 kind of go hand in hand when it comes to delivering content. That may be through an email, that may be through Google Classroom, that may be through Canvas, and that's the online delivery system that we use for content. But all these are things that they are completely aware of and use almost on a daily basis. A little bit more provided versus purchased. Obviously, at our schools, we have paper copies, Canvas, emails, parent-teacher conferences. Those are all things that we provide, and I think a lot of people's lists are going to look a lot like mine when it comes to things that are purchased. Obviously, my cellular device is something that I purchase. I have a home iPad that I use, also use it in the classroom at times, and then also a home laptop. I do have one from the school, but I typically leave it there and then use my own home laptop when I'm there. So tools I wish I could have used. I would love to do more virtual parent-teacher conferences. This is a form of digital communication. We just don't have enough time for them. I wish there'd be more time for us to get on virtual calls with parents, because I think a lot of them prefer that avenue. And I don't really have a preference on in-person or virtual after going through all this craziness that we have done. And then the other one that I wish we could see more of and use more of is parent meetings. Again, this is well in the norm of able to do, but the time constraint to get meetings set up is very, very difficult to find. All right. So I know probably many of you educators out there are a lot like me. The more interaction I can have with my students and parents and other teachers and administrators would make my life a lot easier. Just a little bit talking about the introductions. Okay, and I found this to be a very interesting part of this module. The first thing I know about my introductions that I always go, oh yeah, I'm a school teacher and I work in Oklahoma City, and I've been doing it for like 15 years and I really enjoy it. And I think I do also talk about how I have a passion for teaching young students and how I have passion for working with parents. But things that I know I need to do, okay, is that I need to tell a story of what I do. How did I get into teaching? Obvious stories a little bit longer. I can condense it, share my passions a little bit more, and really try to, let people know that teaching is a passion of mine. It's just not a job to me. And then also not overpower the conversation when it comes to introductions, because I think I personally have a tendency of trying to overpower conversations in any realm of when I'm talking with people. And I think that's something I really could use, work on and use in the future. Just a few future school leader intro needs. I need to make sure people know I'm in the role to work with them, not someone that's going to tell them what to do, that I am there to work with them. I also do need to be more humble and just not spit out stats of accomplishments that I've had. I've had a lot of success when it comes to the coaching side and a lot of success when it's been on the teaching side. I just need to make sure that I'm not focusing on those things when I talk to people, so it's about them as well as it is about me. Then I also need to make sure that people know I'm wanting to know their passions as well. And I think, like some of the research showed, is that you can get to that point with, by showing them your passions and showing them that, you communicate well with others, and then they in turn will possibly, reply back with their passions and the things that they're really interested in. I think that is an excellent way to go as far as when you're doing your introductions. A few district strategic policies that we have, they just tell us try to be as active as you can with communicating with parents about student needs. Obviously, my email is very preferred for this method because I can get so much information out at such a larger pace. I have 130 students, so sometimes it's kind of difficult. We also make a phone call to any student that is failing. Sometimes this takes a little bit of time, but I think it's really important to let the parents know that we care about what they're doing. We are also required to continue the use of Canvas. Students and parents use this to see updated information from the classes. This works out very good. And you can see that I feel like this is, these strategic policies are something that I follow very in depth. And I know some teachers that don't. And I think that my communication with my parents is a lot better with others. And then obviously we have parent-teacher conferences 2 times a year. But I never see enough participation for students who need to attend. So, at times after that, I'm going to go back up to the other bullet point, is that in-person meeting with counselors and other teachers. Sometimes we have to get those scheduled through the office so that we can have good conversations with those parents and those students. Last but not least, talking about the correlation, relevancy, and reflection. This is my third class, or, class I've taken at Fort Hays State University, and I really enjoy writing these each time. This module really showed me effective means of communicating effectively with stakeholders. The level of communication that I'm able to obtain to all stakeholders that are invested shows the oral, written, and digital means are being met to effectively share all information that they may need. All right. I really enjoyed also when it talks about relevancy and, the important that this helped on my current learning. I just got out of the action research class, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and I was kind of looking for a change, but really looking at the content from this class and, the things that need to be communicated. Sometimes it has to be from that action research and things that are good or even things that are bad. So, I really enjoyed adding on to that knowledge that I got with this knowledge about multiple means of communication. Then last, my personal reflection, as I, mentioned earlier in my relevancy, is that I really enjoyed, looking at my introduction to people and how, how I can, meet their needs as individuals that I'm meeting. Looking at my communications, also learning even more about communication shows me in our time of technology, there's no reason not to communicate in an effective way. So just really focusing on communication to our stakeholders and making sure that I don't overpower introduction with someone that I just met. Those things to me were some of the most important things when I look at a reflection from this module. All right, last but not least, I have my references here. Obviously, we use multiple different ones. This was a great module, and I really enjoyed it, and I look forward to another great class.